I'm creative, I am motivated, I'm the shit, and I can do this. Let's get this shit started.
What's happening? It's your girl Mercedes Eileen. Welcome to my channel. This video is going to contain content that involves unaliving oneself, mental health issues, and things of that nature. So if you feel like you cannot deal with that, just don't even continue watching this video. This video is going to be a life update / chit chat or whatever. Yeah, let's get into it. I make disclaimer. Also, if you like videos like this, because I am going to make more, because this consumes my life a lot. Mental health consumes my life a lot more than I've let on before. And I definitely feel like after going through what I went through, that it's very important that people are aware that people go through these things. Regular people, hood people, like black people, a lot of people go through things, and it's just not, it's not put out there. Nobody says anything about it. People just sweep it under the rug. People try to silence people like me who have mental illness, or just completely don't believe us at all. And, you know, fuck them. Honestly, that's what it's gonna have to be. There's no other conclusion to it. If you don't know, or if you haven't seen a previous video of mine, I think I disclosed that I have bipolar disorder, but I'm not 100% sure. So if you're new or if you're not new, I have bipolar disorder. I was diagnosed about over a year ago, early 2021, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. They didn't tell me exactly which bipolar disorder I had, because, you know, it's really hard to find like good psychiatric care where they just detailed and tell you everything that you need to know. But I think I have bipolar 2 disorder, which, if I'm not mistaken, bipolar 2 is more depression and bipolar 1 is more manic. And bipolar 1 is like angry manic, like irritated, angry manic episodes. But I have hypomanic episodes, which are not as grandiose or not as egotistical as manic episodes, but I could get pretty hype and I could get pretty impulsive. It's a problem. It's still a problem, but it's just not as bad as actually being like manic. Oh my God, I've seen a person be manic before. It ain't what you want. You hear me? So yeah, I usually tend to be on the more depressed side. I don't know if it's because of what's been going on in my life lately, or if that's really just like how it works, like how my mental illness works or whatever. The biggest problem that I've had because of my bipolar disorder is keeping a job. That has been the hardest thing for me, because I have had panic attacks. And honestly, I think panic attacks come more from anxiety, which I do have general anxiety disorder as well, which I had not disclosed before because I just found it out a couple weeks ago. And I never knew that I had generalized anxiety disorder. Like, I never knew that until a couple weeks ago. So having a lot of panic attacks at work, getting fired because of it, financially, life has kind of been on more of the struggling side. I'm not just like ass out, because I have people in my family that love me and don't want to see me struggling for real, so they help me as much as they possibly can. But it's been very hard on my self-esteem, because I did not used to have these problems. I used to be able to work doubles back to back. Like, I used to have money all the time. I used to be able to do what I wanted to do. And then it's just like one day I wasn't anymore. And I do think that some events that I went through, such as having a physical fight with my dad and going through a very traumatizing breakup, I think those did contribute to the state that I was in, hopefully not currently in. We're gonna see. We're still working it out. If you haven't watched my last video, my last story time about I forgot what I named it, but it was like about how I fought my dad and I went through the breakup or whatever. I do have a previous video about that. If I can tag it, I'm gonna try to, but I really don't know how to do all of that stuff, so we're just gonna have to see. But anyway, yeah, I do suggest that you go watch that video first, just so you'll have a better idea of the stuff that I've been through before this one, because this one it's just as much drama. Honestly, it's just as much drama. Like, my life is a fucking movie. 2022. I felt really good about 2022 coming in. I was very, very motivated. I felt like I had finally healed over my breakup, and I felt like the world was my oyster, and I was definitely motivated to change my mindset, change how I had been seeing the world, change my circumstance. I really don't like the life that I live. I don't like where I stay. I like the people that I'm around. I love the people that I'm around, but sometimes I just want something different. I want to expand. I want something better for myself. You get what I'm saying? So at the beginning of 2022, I decided that I was going to live differently. I ended up catching COVID because I was talking shit about not having COVID. And of course, I ended up getting COVID. So had that, and also started talking to my ex again. Yeah, the one who broke my heart and left me for dead. I started talking to him again. At first, it was just friendly. It was really nothing too heavy. Like, we was just kind of talking. He was bored, so we were talking every day. And you know me, I don't have any attachment boundaries. So, you know, I was letting a nigga talk to me every day. And we was just getting more and more attached and just reminiscing. He was telling me things that he had done in the past, and I had already told him everything I had done, but he was telling me more things that I never even knew about the relationship, and things that he went through, and how he felt like he was doing better and he was in a better space. And I did honestly believe that we were meant to be. Like, I always felt like no matter what happened or what we went through, like, we were always going to end up together, because I just felt such a strong connection to him. And I really felt like we were connected on a deeper level than just here. Like, I really felt like spiritually I could feel him. I felt like energetically we were still connected. And that could possibly be a soul tie. I definitely did a lot of rituals to try to get over that soul tie shit. But, you know, it is what it is. Whatever. We were just talking, and he definitely felt like he was in a better place. I don't really know too much of what I was telling him. I feel like I listened more than I talked a lot. I worked a lot on myself throughout the year that we weren't talking, to not be so controlling and overbearing and aggressive and assertive. Like, you know, I'm still an assertive person, but just like not to the point of being a controlling person and being narcissistic towards someone. But we weren't actually together, so I did still have my little fling down here in Dallas. I was messing with him at the same time as I was just talking on the phone to my ex, which I didn't really expect to see. I didn't expect him to see me. I didn't expect to see him. I didn't expect us to be around each other no time soon, because we had just started talking. So around this time, I also stopped taking my medicine. I do remember why. It was because, like, one time I had to decide between paying for my medicine and paying for something else. And I paid for something else. So wasn't taking my medicine at this time at the end of January. I ended up having sex with my Dallas fling at the end of January. And I took a plan B after, because, you know, who wants kids? Not Mercedes. That happened. And then, like, I had a period. And okay, this is one thing about me. When I am on my menstrual cycle, like, I tend to get depressed. Like, I tend to get depressed and then manic. Like, it goes straight from depression into hypomania. Because I'm so depressed about what I'm depressed about, I'm trying to figure out a solution for my depression. So it goes straight into hypomania, into, okay, what do I have to do to get rid of this feeling? Like, you know? So that's what happened to me during that menstrual cycle. After that menstrual cycle, in a hypomanic episode, I decided to use my credit card to travel across the country to go to see my ex. Traveled over there, went and seen him. It was such a great experience. I will never discredit that experience, to see someone that you haven't seen in a long time, and for those feelings to just like come back and to be in love. I think I was in love with him by that point already, but I wasn't really trying to acknowledge it. I was really trying to fight that feeling, because He had broke my heart before. Like, I don't even know why I was even talking to him. I literally cannot tell you I was talking to him. But like I said, I always felt like we would come back together. And for it to actually happen, I felt like, you know, because they always say, like, what they say, if something is yours, it'll come back to you. So at this point, I'm kind of starting to accept it for that. I'm like, okay, well, maybe we are really supposed to be together. Like, we're back and, like, I'm seeing him again. And it was just such a great experience. We had a lot of unprotected sex. He was pulling out, but it was still unprotected at the end of the day. You gotta take shit for what it is, and that's what it was. And I wasn't on any medications, including birth control. I was not on birth control. But this trip definitely made me feel a lot better. I met the people that he stayed with, and they made me feel so at home, and they just made me feel so accepted. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I have to move here. This is what I want to do. I want to be with him, and I want to live with him. I'm on that midnight train to Georgia, you hear me? Because I'd rather live in his world than live without him in mine. That's how I was feeling. Like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna move here and we're gonna be together. I love him, and he really fed me everything that I wanted to hear. He told me what I wanted to hear. He was in my ear hella. Could have been manipulation. He was definitely love bombing the fuck out of me. And I was just eating that shit up, of course, because who appreciates love bombing more than an anxious attached person? Anxious attachment style happens when a child is frequently left. They can be left one time, or they can, you know, consistently be left and then come back and then left and come back. And in my case, my father was very in and out of my life. So whenever I would see him, like, I was very scared for him to leave. He would leave every time. I don't know why I expected that nigga not to leave. But I would be very clingy to him. Like, when he was there, I wanted to be around him. I wanted to, you know, make him feel like he didn't have to leave. Maybe I can make him, ooh, them emotions. Give me a second. So yeah, when I was a child, I always, like, when my dad would come, I would just hope that maybe sometime, like, maybe this time I'll do something to make him stay. Like, maybe he won't leave this time if I'm around him enough, or if he sees me enough, or if we do this, or if I do that, or if my mom does this, or if my mom does that. And so that kind of made me create a lot of resentment towards my mom, because she would never do anything to make him stay. Like, she was like, if you want to leave, you're going to leave, because she knew things that I did not know. And as a child, you know, when you grow up like that, you start to incorporate that into the other relationships in your life. I have an anxious attachment style. So he was feeding the fuck out of this shit. And he's telling me about his ex-girlfriend and how she was crazy and narcissistic and she was beating his ass and la 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 la. And I'm just eating that shit up. I'm like, damn, like, she was a narcissist. Like, that's crazy. Because I was just annoyed at the fact that he ever thought that he could be with anyone other than me. In my head, like, honestly, that's how I felt. Like, why are you even trying to make a life with another bitch? I never understood no shit like that. Like, if you, because he was telling me that he was thinking about me the whole time, and oh, I never wanted to be with anyone but you. Like, but you was with a whole nother person. You could have got her pregnant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could have been something different. I haven't even gotten to that point yet. But he was just telling me all these things about her and just made her seem like such a villain. And, you know, after a while, I just stopped caring. Like, I didn't care anymore. But he was definitely answering her calls and stuff like that. So he was, I don't know what the fuck he was doing, because I could have been lied to. So I don't know what he was doing, but I definitely felt like he was not, he had not completely let go of that situation. Time goes on, he's still answering her calls, and I'm getting pissed, so I'm still messing with my Dallas fling. So after I went to visit him, after this whole week of deciding that I wanted to stay with him, which I still hadn't changed my mind about, I went to go visit my Dallas fling, but we didn't really do anything because I was so focused on my ex that, like, no other person mattered. Like, no other person mattered. Like, when I tell you, like, I'm such a fixated person, like, once I have what I want, is that I did not want my Dallas swing no more. So I just completely stopped talking to him, like, after that. So came back home, got a job because I got to move to where my baby is. Found out I was pregnant a week into the job So at this point, I'm like, okay, so my ex is the father because we was having unprotected sex. And there was actually like a moment where we looked at each other and was like, there was a questionable moment where we was like, okay, did you, he was just like, I was like, okay, cool. And I thought about taking a plan B, but I didn't. I don't know why. Like, any other time it would have been so important to me. At that time, like, I thought about it. I'm like, should I take a plan B? And I'm like, nah, because we've had sex a lot of times without protection. And he's used the pull-out method and it has worked. I didn't go there with the intention of getting pregnant. That was never my intentions. But when I did find out that I was pregnant, people thought that he was trying to trap me. I was telling my people and they was like, girl, he did that on purpose. Like, he wanted to have a baby by you. Like, because he wanted to be connected to you forever. Like, you're so stupid. And I was like, damn, for real? Like, you think he would do that? Like, you think he would do something like that? And they're like, yeah, girl. And then people in his ear telling him that I was trying to trap him. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like, too much. The beginning of my pregnancy is really when our whole relationship started to fall apart. I ended up losing my job because I had a panic attack at work and I got fired. And, you know, by this time I'm depressed because I have a baby to take care of. I'm trying to move to where this boy is at and I want to be with him. And I can't keep a fucking job. Like, how am I going to start my life with him? How am I going to start my family's life if I cannot keep a job? Like, you have to pay to stay. And if I don't have a way to pay, I don't have a way to stay. I was really talking to him about it. And at this time, I was feeling depressed about it. I didn't really want to get out of bed. I didn't want to brush my teeth. I wanted to cut off my hair. Because if you notice, I used to have locks. I don't know if you're new or whatever, but last video, I had locks. I don't have locks anymore because I cut them off. Not only because I was tired. I just felt icky. I felt disgusting. I couldn't, like, you know, when you're pregnant, you smell things strong. So, like, food was really just not it for me. I didn't want to eat, didn't want to shower, didn't want to brush my teeth, didn't want to talk to anybody but my ex, didn't want to fool with anybody but my ex. He was literally the only thing that was, like, keeping me not depressed. And that is honestly where the whole downside of this situation starts, because I became codependent on him. So not only was I not working, so he started working and he agreed to, like, help me with my bills and stuff like that. And I'm like, are you sure that you're okay with that? Like, you know. And also by this time I had let him know about my Dallas fling. Like, you know, I had sex with somebody a couple weeks before you, so I'm just letting you know just in case. I don't want you to feel blindsided by anything, because, you know, I'm a transparent person and I like being honest. Some people are like that, some people are not, but I am. It was just like a lot of things just hit at one time. I think that he blamed me for a lot of the stress that came with being a father. I did have a hand in stressing him out because I was codependent on him. I told him about my emotions. He don't even know how to deal with his own emotions, let alone mine too. And I had some heavy ass emotions. And just a lot of things went wrong. Like, he was supposed to come see me. He didn't come see me. And I spazzed the fuck out because he couldn't come see me. And he was working like 2 jobs, I think, and he's not good at money management, so he was spending money on things that he didn't need. And I'm like, well, how are you going to help me if you spend all money on things that you don't need? Not that I'm trying to be in your pockets, not that I'm trying to run your money, but you can't say that you're going to help me and then you're doing things that are not going to make you able to help me. And, you know, once I voiced that to him, he definitely was fed up with my ass. Like, bitch, you think you finna come and put your emotions on me, and you think that you finna stress me out just because you're pregnant? Like, fuck what you got going on, bitch. I got shit going on too. Like, that's what I felt like he was basically saying. Like, so even though I was depressed and I was not feeling good, you know, I couldn't take medicine because I was in my first trimester of pregnancy. I was going through a lot of things mentally terribly. Like, it was really fucking me up. And I was telling him about it and he seemed supportive. And, you know, I told his people about it and they were like, oh, like, I know how this goes, like, da-da-da. So I'm thinking, like, everything is cool. When I tell y'all, It took 1 week in March. That nigga flipped the script on my ass. When I tell you, like he just completely turned into a person that I do not know. I don't know if he developed this personality while we was not together. I don't know if this personality fell out of the sky. I really think that he was always this person and he just masked himself well to play a role that he really wasn't. So I fell in love with the mask that he portrayed to me, and he literally started treating me like shit. Like, there's no other way to put it. There's no nicer way to put it. He started talking to me like I was a dog, blaming me for everything, saying how I stressed him out and I'm manipulative and I tried to do this and do that and it's probably not even his baby and I probably know that it's not his baby, like things like that. And like, for a depressed person, y'all, that was tearing me the fuck down. Like, that shit tore me down so bad. Like, I was so depressed and I felt so bad about myself because the person's opinion that I cared the most about felt like that about me. So how could it not be true? That's really like the thought pattern that I was having at the time. Like, damn, like maybe he's right. Like, maybe I am. I knew I didn't try to manipulate him. I knew that wasn't what it was. But I was like, damn, like, maybe this all is my fault. Like, and I was apologizing to him about getting pregnant. I was apologizing to him about talking to him again. I was apologizing for everything because I just thought, again, maybe if I did something different, then he would stay. You know, with abandonment issues, it's not healthy. You know, the attachment style that you develop is not healthy. And I really did not want him to leave me because at that time, he was the only thing making me happy. He was the only thing making me feel like, okay, maybe this is all worth it. And when he started acting like that towards me, I felt the worst about myself than I've ever felt in my life. Even the first time we broke up, it was not that bad. The first time we broke up, he wasn't like hateful towards me. Like, he was just kind of ignoring me instead. Like, he still felt like he loved me and he still, you know, those things. But it was just more of a, you know, yeah, I feel this way about you, but I'm going through things the first time. But this time around, he hated me. And I'm sorry that I'm crying because I'm still healing from it. I still think about it often, you know, less often than I used to, but it's something that I'm still healing through. So I apologize for the tears and getting emotional and stuff, but you know, this is life. And I just started to feel like not only bad about myself, but very pessimistic just because I felt like my mental illness was the reason for all of this. I literally felt like if I didn't have bipolar disorder, if I wasn't depressed, then I wouldn't have been as codependent on him. If I wasn't depressed, I wouldn't have stressed him out so much. If I wasn't depressed, I could be working right now, you know? And he just made me feel really bad about not being able to work. He completely dismissed the idea of my mental illness. He completely invalidated every experience that I had had. When I would tell him, like, you know, I'm trying, like, I'm fucking depressed, I'm going through shit, my body's going through changes, he just, I think that it would go in one ear and out the other. And he would completely ignore it and say that I was making up excuses, and I was trying to manipulate the situation. I have never been degraded and just completely put down. I've never been put down in that way before. I've never had anyone tell me they don't like the person that I am. I still struggle with liking the person that I am, with accepting myself because of my mental illness. I can't even say that I can't blame everything on my mental illness because literally the only problems in my life are because of my mental illness. There was a time when I wasn't this way. when I didn't have panic attacks, when I wasn't depressed all the time, to literally go from having the world in your hands and feeling like you could do anything to feeling like you don't have control over anything in your life, including yourself, is the worst shit ever. So to completely have my experience dismissed and basically being told everything that you're feeling is not real and you're making excuses because you don't want to do anything, and to be told that I'm not doing anything as a mother, even though I'm carrying my baby, I'm fighting unaliving myself for my child, and you tell me that I'm not doing anything, you know? I let it get to me. I did. I let what he said get to me. I attempted unaliving myself multiple times, and the last time I just kind of came to the conclusion that this was wrong. It was wrong because it was very, very stupid of me to take not only my life, but a complete other life because of what he was doing. And I knew deep down on the inside, because I do study psychological things a lot just on my own time because of what I go through, that it wasn't fair for me to take another life because of what he was feeling and what he thought. You know, he's not God. His opinion is not the end all be all, you know? And I really want to see my baby. I kept thinking that, like, I want to see my baby. And I just remember, I remember crying, bawling, crying tears, and saying, I want to see my baby. Like, rocking back and forth. I want to see my baby. I want to see my baby. I did what I had to do, and I went to my counselor that I usually go to, and I told them everything about how I tried to unalive myself, about me at the time not wanting to be alive, about everything. What ended up happening is they ended up admitting me into a mental hospital, of course, because when you're trying to unalive yourself, they have to watch you. You need to be watched. You don't want to be here. Like, you need to be watched. If you're not watched, you're not going to be here. And I guess some people want you here. Like, somebody wanted me here. I remember getting there, went through the whole process. I'm probably going to make a separate story time about that, just because it was an experience in its own, being in a psychiatric hospital. I was in there for about a week, and I remember calling him, my ex. I had tried to call him like multiple times, and then finally one time he answered, and he was like, oh, like, I didn't know, like, this is the phone. Like, you know, his tone was a bit different. I was just like, yeah, like, I felt really bad, and I went through some things. I didn't tell him, like, out of my mouth, like, oh, I tried to do this or that, but I tried to, as much as I can, get him to understand what had happened. And he said to me, oh, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And literally that was it. Like, he told me that he was going to call me back. He didn't call me back. And then I went days with trying not to talk to him, but I was having dreams about him causing me pain. I was having dreams about him cheating on me. I was having dreams about wanting to see him and not being able to see him. Like, every dream was just painful. After I talked to him, the dream stopped. It was cool, things were cool, but I was still feeling that need to speak to him because I was so addicted to him. I was addicted. That's literally what it is. Like, who goes back to something that put them in the place? Like, puts them in a mindset like that, puts them in a place like that. Like, who goes back for more? Only someone who is addicted. So I was really addicted to him. I just decided that I really wasn't going to speak to him anymore. Like, this is where we draw the line, because I have to be a mother to my child. Like, I have so many other things going on, like my mental health, and me about to have a baby, and me being pregnant, and me needing to be healthy for this baby. I have so much more in my life right now, and I have positive things, you know? And I realized that if I kept trying to talk to him and kept trying to focus on him and like fix what we had, then I was never going to get anywhere, because he had already made up his mind that he did not love me anymore. He did not want to be with me. He didn't want anything to do with me, which was confusing me, because if we're going to co-parent, you have to deal with me. But whatever. It was just really breaking my heart that he felt like that about me. But I wasn't trying to unalive myself anymore. I decided that we're not going to go that route anymore, because I don't want to be back at that place. And I want to see what my baby looks like. I want to try to raise my baby and see what that's like. You know, maybe being a mother will give me some fulfillment out of life that I haven't felt before, because I'm a person who believes that everything happens for a reason. And I really do feel like the way that me getting pregnant happened, like, just the certain things that happened had to happen the way that they did for me to get pregnant and for it to be a healthy pregnancy. Because like I said, I was taking medicine before it. And the medicine that I was taking, you cannot take in your first trimester of pregnancy. And I didn't even know that I was going to get pregnant, but I just stopped taking my medicine, you know? And I was looking in the mirror at my stomach and just like imagining myself being pregnant. I don't know why I was doing this, but I was doing it. Even me and my ex were talking about baby names. That's how my baby got her name. We were brainstorming baby names. And, you know, I feel like it was gonna happen, and I kind of felt it going to happen, but I just did not know. I didn't know that it was really gonna happen though. Like, I don't know, like maybe I manifested it or something on accident. I didn't mean to, but I was talking to someone about it, and they were like, well, you know, before you felt like you didn't have anything to live for, but now you do. And I do genuinely feel like that's the reason for me having this baby, is because she's gonna be amazing, and she's gonna be like the light of my life, and she's gonna keep me going, and she's gonna keep me motivated, and she's gonna love me and accept me. Gosh, I've never felt accepted and really consistently loved, you know? And I feel like my baby might be that for me, you know? Not that I'm going to be codependent on her. I'm definitely not trying to do that shit. Doing everything that I can to be enough within myself to where I don't have to depend on anyone for emotional support, because I don't want to do that to my child. That causes childhood trauma just as much as being a toxic parent in any other type of way does. That makes me satisfied, and it makes me want to get through this pregnancy and see how things are gonna go, and, you know, just feel better and be better from my baby. I have to set an example. I don't want her looking for love in all the wrong places. I can't make her not have abandonment issues, because her dad is probably not going to be in her life near as much as I am. But, you know, I can do what I can to reassure her that she's enough and that she is loved, and I can give her all the emotional support that she needs, and I can be everything that she needs me to be. That's basically my 2022 journey, my life update. Hopefully this video isn't too long, but I definitely feel like it ends on a more positive note, because I am in a better headspace than I was. I am still healing through the things, you know, that happened to me, healing through the things that I did to myself. You know, I'm definitely reflecting on the situation and thinking about how to change my mindset going forward so that I don't repeat the same cycles. Biggest lesson learned, do not let motherfuckers spin the block. No spinning the block over here. No, one time you're done. That's it. Especially if I'm seeing red flags from the beginning. Cause I seen red flags from the beginning, but I was just ignoring the bitches. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I was ignoring the fuck out of them red flags. I could have been better, and I could have known better and got out while I could, you know? But it is what it is. At the end of the day, I don't feel any hate in my heart for my ex. I still very much love him, and that is okay. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him have a relationship with my daughter. I'm never going to stop him from having a relationship with my daughter. I'm going to do my best to be the best mother and co-parent that I could possibly be. Awareness for mothers with mental health and pregnant people with mental health issues. Me and my baby's going to be okay. I'm probably going to make more videos about being pregnant and stuff, because this is definitely a new experience for me. But I felt like this was the most important. This was the most touching. This was the most, you know, just crazy. Like, I literally could not have predicted what happened to me was going to happen to me. Could not have predicted it. Didn't see it coming. None of that. The thing that I mostly seen coming was probably me being pregnant. That was it. Other than that, I could not have predicted anything else about 2022. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and you like and you share if you feel like someone else needs to hear this story. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in for my next videos. I'm so excited that I feel motivated to make YouTube videos again, because I literally love doing this. I could do this shit all day. And yeah, so bye, peace, love, light, and healthiness shit.